Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Good Morning Soul. And we are slowly burning through my bank account at $2 to $3 at a time by watching another short film. And the one I wanted to talk about today was called, this is a French film, and I'm not going to pronounce his name right. It is La Femme et la TGV. Hopefully I pronounced that right. And TGV is the name of the railroad. And I don't know how that, like, the English name is the railroad lady, but the French name has the name of the fucking train. So I assume that says at the the name of the railroad station, like the woman of the TGV. I guess it kind of means the railroad lady. Whatever. But anyway. So this film is about a woman who owns a chocolate shop, like a bakery, and she's late in her life. Her son is kind of a dick. He's trying to get her into a retirement home, and he's convinced that this part of her life is over. And something she does every day, this is just a habit of hers, is to every day wave by the railroad station, because she used to do that for her son. But even though he's not on the train every day anymore, she still waves. And a person on the train has started to throw packages out the window every time they run by the house. And it's almost like she gets this glorious pen pal from the film. And they develop this strong relationship, and it's kind of obvious that she's developing romantic feelings towards this person, because even the cover of this movie, it's actually a very artistic cover. It is literally like a poem, and the main actress leaning into this poem, and the poem is extending an arm out, like a physical arm is being pulled from this poem, and she's hugging it. And then it has a railroad thing below it with all these letters in the wind. It's a very beautiful, beautiful cover. And this woman, she really won my heart, because halfway through this film, because we start to realize this is kind of just a woman who's kind of stubborn, kind of I don't want to say single-minded, but she's very much not living in today's culture. For instance, she says, she is yelling on the phone on someone. She's where they're oh, you can just go on the internet to talk to this person, because she's trying to get a hold of the guy from the letters. And she's I'm not using the internet, and I never will, and then hangs up the phone. I was very standoffish about that. And then at one part in the film, there's these young people. They park outside her place, and you could tell she's just being a dick to them because they're young. And then the young person, he comes into her store later and just buys chocolate, and she has an attitude with him, and he's just being a nice guy. And he comes back later in the film. So at one point, there is this very sad moment where she is on the train, or she's waiting for the train, and it doesn't show up one day, and then she calls them about it, and they tell her, oh, the train, it's taking a new route that will be an hour shorter. And it literally breaks her down. It's so sad. So she runs. At this point in time, a guy knocks on her door, leaving a letter under her under the door, saying, hey, this is goodbye, I'm sorry you weren't home. So she runs after him and meets him at the train station. And on the way, the one guy who she was being a dick to earlier in the film, the younger guy, he gives her a ride. And when she gets to the train station, she sees the guy in the train, and instantly it kind of all shatters to pieces, because the guy is, I think, a little bit younger. He has a wife, he has a family, and it kind of just breaks you a little bit, because you really were hoping, you were really pulling for that relationship. And even the way he spoke in the letters was this romanticized voice that is not his actual voice. So it really is a story of a woman creating this fictional character from words that weren't wrong. They were just not what she wanted them to be. Uh, which is normal. But the silver lining here is at the end of the film, she reopens her bakery, and early in the film, she referenced, "Oh, I'll hire someone, and then if I do, then I'll just become, then I'll move into a home." And the guy she hired was that younger dude. So it like comes full circle, and she sends a message to the guy one last time, and this time it's on the internet. So I know the internet is like supposed to be like the villain in a lot of stories, but it was nice to see it used as this progression piece for this woman. And by the way, I couldn't find a single goddamn place to watch this thing. It wasn't on YouTube like all my other ones that I've watched. Like, and now instead of having like a bunch of cool fucking movies that I happen to own on YouTube, I had to buy this one on iTunes. And sure, it looked a lot nicer, but I had to pay for it. Like, I was a little like frustrated going into this movie. I was like, here I am spending an extra $1 of my money. I have to use fucking iTunes, which like the subtitles, because it's French, were being slow as shit. It did look nicer, but I wasn't paying HD for those other ones when I could have been. But yeah, little rant. But now I have a fucking random ass movie in my iTunes account. Fuck yeah. That I'll probably never watch again, but maybe. So yeah, The Railroad Lady. I liked this one. I thought, at first I was like, this might not be my thing. This is kind of boring. This whole like fairy tale character that she's making, but like it was a very sympathetic story, but at the same time I was just kind of like I didn't have too much of a reason to care. Like, this woman is very nice. She has this big beautiful smile, but like those one scenes really like I was like, but by the end I was like, okay, those humanized her. She just had problems with this young society, but then like that's what worked out in the end, so I can't like be upset about that. It was a very interesting movie. I really liked it. I can't give it higher than a 6 out of 10 though. That is my rating, a 6 out of 10. It is what it was. Not too bad. Pretty interesting stuff. I really like these movies because they are really shining light on characters and stories that don't get attention. Like, for these movies, they're not going to make that much money anyway, so they don't need to make the main character like a straight white guy. And they're able to, like, spruce it up a little bit. Make stories about people working at a fucking parking garage. Make a story about this woman in France who owns a bakery. Like, that's so cool. I would really, after I watched all these short films, love to write a video. I don't know if I'll ever, that'll take time, but I want to at least write a video, like, kind of just talking about my experience with all these short films. I can make it kind of like a highlight reel for people. I don't know if I'll actually end up doing that, but we'll see. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, as always. I appreciate it. You are the best. I'll see you tomorrow with another episode of Good Morning Soul, and with that, I leave you.